Hey guys, here's another pinball repair that I'm doing, and this is an interesting one this time. This is a Gottlieb Gladiators, Gottlieb System 3. This game was made in late '93. It's an excellent game by John Norris, some really unique rule sets, and I think it was supposed to be a Legend of Zelda pinball, but ended up losing that license, and that being said, it turned into Gladiators, and it's a really cool game. I'm just putting in some neat stuff. One of the features is I've got a new old stock playfield from Pinball Resource. This is a solder sample. So at the factory, it was completely bare on the top, except for drop targets and some stand-up targets and a few things. And everything else underneath was populated. So all the coils, the wiring harness, lamp sockets, everything was done on the bottom, gears, everything. So it was pretty cool. I had a Gladiators at the time. I bought this playfield. As you can see, it's just, 100% mint condition. Pretty crazy. And I've been working on this project for a long time, and so I got new decals. You can see I've done a lot of work to this thing, but we're not here for that. What we're here for is to fix a problem. Now it's having a problem with some lamps, and you can see I have some lamps that aren't lighting. Here's one. There's one over in this lane here. This little guy over here. This little guy right here. So we're having some issues. And one thing that you need to know about Gottlieb System 3s, which is unique, is the switch matrix, right? The switches and the lamp matrix share the same strobe lines, right? So in other words, you could be having issues with lamps. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to point out I'm missing a lamp here and a lamp here. Those are part of the matrix too, this one. So you could have an issue with a shorted lamp socket, and it can cause all kinds of switch issues in your game. And so interesting and difficult to diagnose at the same time. But you always have to suspect both sides. If you have an issue with one or the other, it's possible, right? There's transistors that drive the rows and transistors that drive the strobe columns on these games. And so what I did here is I'm just working on a game here, and I found that all the lamps that I'm missing are in this column here. Okay, so normal troubleshooting is I'm going to go take a look at these lamps. It looks like I'm missing most of these. I don't know if I'm missing all of them. I'll go back and take a look, and then I'll report back to you. But this is the schematics. Here's the lamp matrix. And I'm missing these. And they all have one common thing here. Is this 822. What's that? That's the color of the wire. All Gottlieb wires are white with stripes on them. So I know it's a white wire. 822. Well, how do I tell what that means? Well, you go to the color code chart, and you see it. 8 is gray, 2 is red, and 2 is red. So 822 is a white wire with a gray stripe and 2 red stripes. So that's my guess. And that's what all these have in common. And it could be the transistor that drives all these is bad. And so we'll go take a look and see if they're all bad. Alright, so we're here under the playfield, and we're going to try and figure out why we have all these lamps out. And we're taking a look at the playfield itself. And we notice, I know I have the GI out because I pulled the fuse. There's a relay down there that's causing a different issue. But we don't have the ones I showed you, but we do have some other ones that are in the column. Extra ball, attack, and that combo light is working. So, I think it's working. Yeah. So when I come back over here to this column, I notice that I have most of these are out, but I have 2 or 3 that are working fine. What does that tell me? Well, it tells me that the transistor that turns these lights on and off is good, because these would all be gone, number one. So then that kind of screams to me, well, maybe you have a broken wire or a bad diode somewhere. Some of these lights are on a board, right? They have their diodes on the board, so you can test them here. But the first thing you look for in a row or a column, to be honest with you, either one, there's a row, there's the column, is you look at all these lights and you're going to test the wires. The one thing we forget, let me walk on this side, is that these wires daisy chain. It's a typical in pinball machines. So my gray with 2 red stripe wire goes from socket to socket to socket, right? And it takes that information, or that ground return, to each one. Well, what often happens is one of these wires will stay on, the other one will fall off, breaking everything, losing everything downstream. So I started looking around on this game, and I ended up finding a wire that is loose. And here it is. The weird thing about this, as you can see, there's 3 wires actually on this one. There's those 2 and this one here. It's red stripe, or 2 red stripes with gray. So I found it. It indeed was off. So I'm going to test it. I'm going to touch it to this lead here. I'm going to pull up and see if that starts my light. I'm going to go to this green one here, and yep, it's blinking. Now I'm going to take it off. I'll take it off there. Take it off. Whoops, wrong one. Maybe it wasn't working. Let's try this here. That was the wrong green light. Sorry, folks. I'm trying to do this with one hand. Oh, there we go. So it is blinking. That one's working. So it's working. So if I take this wire off, well, let's try to focus here. I'll take the wire off now, and it's off. So that's my problem. So what I need to do is I need to go to that wire that's just hanging there. Where'd you go, wire? That's just hanging there. Oh, right here. I need to take that wire, strip it back a little bit, and solder it onto that spot. Right there. So there we found our issue. And if you must know, on Gottlieb System 3s, your GI is controlled by a relay down here, and looks like mine has a bad solder joint, so I'll have to fix that. The GI was working, so we know it's good. But that's it. There's your Gottlieb System 3, and another little repair tip, and I'm sure I'll have more working with this thing as I get it put back together. She's getting close to having a test play put in it, so we'll let you know. Thanks. Have a great day.